I'm gonna answer some really interesting questions that you guys sent me about Hearthstone Battlegrounds. So let's get into it. I got a lot of great replies, so I'll try and answer as many as possible, but I'll probably do a follow-up on this. So if you have questions as well, still leave them down below in the comments, and I'll see which ones I can answer. Starting off, this was a question about how many players in the lobby need to go for a tribe for it to no longer be viable. Like if multiple people are playing the same composition, do you still go for it? And I think the main tip that I have, or the main reply to this is it doesn't really matter. Like if 3 people or 4 people go beasts, but I still find double mama bear in my shop, I'm still going beasts. It just depends on what direction you find. Of course, the more people go with a certain tribe, a certain direction, the less likely you are to find it and the less pieces there are in the pool. But I think you just see what Bob offers you. If Bob gives me dragons, or probably not dragons, that's a bad example because it's bad, but if it gives me max, if it gives me omega bursters, I'm gonna go it, even if 2 other people are already going it, because otherwise I have no direction and I die. But it's less likely I go max because there will be less omega busters in the pool, so it's more likely I find different direction in the shop. So I don't think I really look at this too much. I just see what I get offered, and of course, you know, the more tribes that are out of the pool, the less likely it's gonna be that you end up doing that. Now I got a couple questions about the hidden MMR system and the visible MMR system, because yes, the MMR system is pretty difficult, and like how the matchups work, why some people gain more MMR than others, and that's I think gonna be a whole video on itself, so I'm gonna make probably a follow-up video on the MMR systems. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not yet, if you want to see that kind of content. How do you balance between spending gold to find direction and improving your board? That is, I think, a great question, especially if people are still starting out with the game, because too many people spend too much gold improving your current board. There's no reason to do that, because you can keep improving your current board, but at some point you just die to people who had direction and you still get a bottom 4, you lose MMR. So I think most of your gold early on should be spent finding direction. What does that mean? Leveling properly, buying pairs, playing the game properly. Don't just roll though. Spending gold does not mean just rolling down, unless you're in tier 5 or 6, of course. As soon as you're in higher tiers, then a lot of gold should be spent looking for for direction. So I think you don't really want to improve your board early, unless you're scared of dying. If you're below damage cap, below 15 health, and you're scared of taking a big hit that you could die, then you probably gotta improve your board a bit, take tempo. But generally speaking, you always wanna keep on looking for direction until you have direction, because otherwise there's no way you can win a game. I hope that answers it, but it's a bit nuanced. Of course, situations are different, health is different, the opponents you face, the tier you're at. So all of that is important to, you know, realize as well when making decisions like these. Also, I got a couple suggestions about redoing the video of directions. I think directions are still the same. I think the latest video I make, most of the cards are still the same. Greaseball is still there, but Greaseball Girl moved out of the game. I think it also has a new tribe Naga in it. If not, I mean, Naga is pretty simple direction. It's just the 6 drops. But yeah, I'll link it on top in case someone hasn't seen it yet. A good way to determine what curves you should go for. That's a question I get a lot. That's a good question, because curves are super important. But I wouldn't say start the game and be like, I'm gonna warrior curve, or I'm gonna farm curve, or I'm gonna power level. Like, very often you don't know yet. It depends on your shops, which often depends on the tribes in the lobby. Like if tier 1 tribes are good, you stay on tier 1. If you get economy and your turn works out, you do it that way. Also depends on the hero that you're playing. Like in a Quillbore Mac lobby, power leveling is way better because they're good on tier 3. There's a bunch of tokens. If you're playing Cirella, you're probably doing Farm Curve or Warrior, depending on how things flow. So just look at how your shop presents itself, what the best play is, and go from there. I think the best players that you'll see play the game or stream it live, they don't have a set idea at the start. They like, their game evolves every time and they end up doing a different curve most of the time. They even stay on tier 1 sometimes even longer if they see it's beneficial, like with Chroma Wings for example right now. And the same goes for your 4/4/5s or 6s. A lot of it has to do with your health, but mainly the tribes again. So make sure you know what good cards there are on higher tiers, like on 5 or 6 for each tribe. What is going to win the lobby. If you don't know what that is, then either look at the direction guide that I have, or use a deck tracker that can show you what tribes are available in the lobby and what good things you can hit on 5 and 6. If you could delete 10 heroes, I mean, I would delete probably more than 10, but I would just delete the heroes that are kind of boring to play and are just not that great in power level either. So we'll just see in high ranks, but also in low ranks, heroes that are just not that great, like Jiraxis for example, and are pretty boring. Like with Jiraxis, you just buy demons and press your hero power for a little bit of stats. I think that's a very lame design. So I would just, you know, group all of those heroes together and either rework them into a more interesting way or play style. But yeah, that's my preference. I know some people do like those heroes that turn your brain off, because Battlegrounds is more a casual game for them. So it's a tough question to really answer, I think. Favorite minion of all time? Pogo! I mean, actually favorite minion, I would have to think about it, because, I mean, Pogo is more of a meme, honestly. I think Iron Sensei, I really like the card because it scales very slowly and it's only a 2/2, but you can build on it with a module and menace. I think Iron Sensei is just a fun card to play with, and I'm happy to see it back. I'm really happy to see that because it was removed for quite a while. And hero, probably Gallywix, because Gallywix can do so many different game plans. And it's hard to get your hero power up and running, but when you do, it feels so satisfying because you can turn any comp into an APM comp. And I like APM games, I like very active games instead of the very passive ones. Also, do you think seeing your combat chances affects your play? Yes, that's why I never play with combat chances. What heroes are considered underpowered do you feel are potentially viable? I think that depends on your rank as well. Like in high ranks, a lot of underpowered heroes perform really well in lower ranks. So, I mean, I'm just gonna answer this from my situation. I think Eudora generally doesn't have a high win rate, or even Mutinous, but Eudora I've had pretty consistent results with because you just guarantee get a 5 or a 6 drop, and very often can line up other triples as well. It's on the riskier side too. And Mutinous, I feel like there's some playstyle that we haven't yet explored that probably makes him better if the meta becomes a bit more tempo-ish. Like Mutinous is also one of my favorite heroes to play because he plays so differently, so I think that's my answer. What could the future of Battlegrounds be like? Different game modes? I mean, I think I've talked about this quite a bit. They could do more casual game modes because we don't have that. Maybe a tavern brawl for Battlegrounds or a custom mode where you could try different stuff out. They could bring buddies back like they do with prizes right now, like 1 in 4 games you have a buddy. Just so it's only 1 in 4. A lot of people that hate it won't have it offered that much, but if you do enjoy it, once in a while you have that game. And I think rotational hero pools is something we talked about as well, where heroes, you know, every season there's like only half of the heroes available, and every season it changes, so that way you don't lose skins if you paid money for it. That's the main reason they're not taking out heroes, but that way every meta feels fresh because some heroes are in, some are out. And imagine a meta where all of the good heroes are out, so everyone plays these like mediocre-ish heroes, these bad heroes that don't see a lot of play right now. The meta is going to be so different and so wild, so that actually is a pretty fun like idea that I would like to see them explore. What tribes do you think are the strongest or best in the current meta? I mean, I think Quilboars right now is the strongest because of the Necrolite cookie interaction, which still hasn't been patched, but apparently it's not a bug, apparently it's intentional, so I don't think it will be patched anytime soon. Maybe it will, who knows. Other than that, I think Max with Greaseball obviously pretty good. Even without Greaseball, they're pretty good. And that's about it. The other ones are all mediocre. They can win, not very often. And the worst one, I'd have to say Demons, maybe. The funniest to play, I mean, Leapers. Leapers is just disgusting sometimes. You find a triple turn 1 or 2 with no token cards. What do you say is the best way to get value out of it? Don't go for it. Very often if I get a triple on turn 1 and 2 and there's no clear way to take it, because I don't have an economy hero power like Cirella, for example, it's bait. Just don't take it, I would say. Like going for an easy free drop wastes you more money and gets you less tempo than playing the game normally, because you have to waste gold taking a suboptimal triple without token. Did they fix the lag animations issues? Yes, they actually did, which I don't think was announced anywhere, but I think it was randomly in a patch. Suddenly everything felt good again and I could play APM Pirates again and like these high action comps, so it's good to see that being resolved. What type of theme would you like as a purchasable cosmetic? I don't really buy cosmetics anymore. I'm not really much of a cosmetics guy, so I don't know. Hello Kitty? I don't know, man. If you're using something like Deck Tracker, at what odds are you generally ticked off? Well, that's why I don't use it. I use Deck Tracker, but I don't use the percentages because I think it's stupid. It just tilts you for no reason. You pay more attention to that than to the actual fight. And as soon as you got a bad hit, you're like, oh fuck, this is a 20%. Oh shit, there goes my 50-50. Like, it doesn't make the game fun at all for me. And a lot of people just rage at it, so I don't see the benefit of it. It doesn't really help you that much, even improving in the game. Like, I don't know, I feel like this changes, but I don't think I can really answer it. When our buddies finally coming back, we don't know. They're probably gonna come back at some point, because the same as Spells came back already twice. This was also an event a while back, and they reintroduced Spells twice more as an event, so I assume they're gonna do the same with buddies. Is leaving the game at Hero Select makes your hidden MMR reduce? You leave the game, you get 8th place, you lose MMR, yes. You think that players should have more access for in-depth statistics of their games played? I think you do, like with deck trackers. I think Firestone, which is what I use, has a lot of more info about all of your fights, all of your games. It's more like third-party apps that you have to use. I don't think Hearthstone will have it built in. I also don't think they should, because most people... it will be cool to see. I would love to see way more stats about your game, but I don't think it's going to be useful for most people. I'm feeling pretty well, Roberto. Thank you for asking. How are you doing? And how is everyone else in the comments doing? How is your... I don't know what day I'm uploading this. How is your day? Should you always try to play the meta with the strongest decks? I assume it's just like Battlegrounds compositions, or is it okay to try new stuff or play something that is pretty weak but still fun? I mean, you should decide it for yourself. A lot of people ask me questions that they should just answer themselves. I don't know. Do you want to have fun? Have fun. Do you want to climb? Try and climb. Play strong stuff. It depends on you, man. 3000-ish MMR here. How do I get better? Watch some of my videos, I guess. 3000 means you're just starting out. There's so many basics I need to master, so learn about the basics and then practice them. Why do someone like XQN get first? Yeah, okay, so another MMR difference question. Again, I'm gonna make a full video on MMR because I think it's a really interesting concept that is not really well explained. And the last one, do you think the game would be better without the RNG part? No, I don't think so. Without RNG, it would be kind of like playing chess, and I think most people here are not very much into chess because it's super analytical and there's like objectively right and wrong plays, and then the game, it's fun to high roll, right? Like you're not gonna high roll if there's no RNG. Like RNG means the shops that you get offered. Imagine if every shop would be the same for every player. Like that's negating RNG, right? Like the shops, what heroes you get, every part of the game is in some way RNG. I think taking all of that away, or taking the majority of it away, it reduces the fun by a lot, because you won't have as many interesting games or different games. Everything is going to feel very still and the same. So RNG is important in the game. Now, of course, there's some like a thing such as too much RNG, which might be shifted errors that they introduced in the game. But yeah, I think that answers it. That was it. Let me know what you thought of this format, because I do make Battlegrounds guides and I try to do tips videos, but I think it's more beneficial and just better if I can directly answer questions that you guys ask me, so I can directly help you in, you know, best way possible. So yeah, if you like this, leave it a like and all this stuff, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day.